Welcome back, WNST. Our favorite cities. I'm not a country music fan. Everybody knows I got a rock and roll heart, but the music is always the vibe. In Nashville, my dear friend Barry Trott's coming back with the New York Islanders on Saturday night. I might have a Gordon Fisherman sweater on before it's all over. But the Ravens will take on the Titans in the late games on Sunday afternoon. Chad Withrow will be there to celebrate my 50th birthday in the Music City. You can find him at Withrow Zone on Twitter, and the host of the Midday 180 and all things Titans and Predators and Rocky Top and all that good stuff that you guys have to offer there. I think both of these teams thought they were better football teams this time last week, right? Nothing like losing in Cleveland and Buffalo to throw a little cold cloth on the whole thing at 3-2 here this week, right?
Yeah, it's amazing because, and thanks for having me on, Nestor. It's and happy 50th birthday also.
Nah, I don't know, man. I want to stick at 49. I don't know, this whole 50 thing. It's starting to scramble my brain a little bit, honestly.
Yeah. Well, no, happy birthday coming up. But, yeah, it's funny because here we thought we were going to have this monumental clash of 4-1 teams in Nashville and sort of the old-school rivalry between the Titans and the Ravens, and it was going to be this big-time national profile matchup. And then this past weekend happened with the loss to the Browns for the Ravens, and then the Titans just completely laying an egg offensively up in Buffalo and still had every chance to win late. They're up 12-10, and the defense, which still, I think, barely allowed 200 yards the entire day, gives up the game-winning field goal drive by Buffalo there in the last couple of minutes. So certainly disappointment for both teams heading into this game. But still a huge game for both teams as they come in 3-2.
Well, and I guess for the Titans, it's like every other team in the league. When the quarterback goes, you go. But wide receivers dropping touchdown. I saw that on the highlight reel in the middle of my game, and I'm like, wow, we play them next week. I'm trying to keep an eye on what you're doing. And that kid got thrown off the team. Vrabel's not screwing around down there, huh?
No, he's not. Yeah, Nick Williams got cut, and they brought in a receiver today for the practice squad, and they elevated Cameron Batson, who's an undrafted free agent out of Texas Tech, to be on the 53-man roster. And, that was an issue coming into the season. And then Corey Davis, who battled injury, the 5th overall pick the entire rookie season last year, battled injury throughout training camp. That was always a big question mark for this team, and it really came back to bite him. You mentioned that just terrible drop touchdown pass in the game by Nick Williams led to him getting cut. But also Taywan Taylor, who's now the number 2 receiver on this team. 4th play of the game, he fumbles. The Titans talked all week about Buffalo's only going to stay in the game if they get off to a good start and they really hunt the football and try to create turnovers. Well, 4 plays in for the Titans, they fumble it. Buffalo goes down and makes it 7-0, and suddenly it's a different game than a lot of Titans fans expected going into it. But that's been a question mark for the team, and it will continue to be a huge question mark at receiver.
Well, at the quarter poll, everybody was smelling good this time last week. And as I said, I don't know that you thought your team was going to play that sloppy, certainly on our end. And, the commitment to running the football for any team in the league feels to be a very, very difficult thing to do when you invest so much in quarterback. But I tell you what, every time I see Derrick Henry touch the football, I think good things do happen. I know there's been a struggle this year. I harken back to his days in Alabama, running everybody over, obviously different in this league, but they do want to run the football there a little bit, and the loss of Delaney Walker, I think, has hurt a lot of things about their offense, including a tight end that hadn't caught a football yet, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah. I mean, Delaney Walker, he played in not even an entire game, and he still is, I think, 3rd on the team in overall receptions, and he leads all tight ends with receptions. So that shows just how inept they've been at tight end since he got injured. And I think, they want to run the ball, but the big issue is you've got Matt LaFleur coming over from the LA Rams. Well, he had Todd Gurley a year ago, so they could do a lot of different things with Todd Gurley. And as good as Derrick Henry has been in flashes for this team, there's a misconception that because he's so big, he runs people over. He really doesn't. Dion Lewis at 5'8" and 200 pounds is a tougher runner than Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a flatline speed, get him out in space type galloping runner, and then he can be really effective, but that's a really specific type for him. And unfortunately for Derrick Henry, his carries are dwindling because I think they're having a hard time finding a place for him in this offense. And that's not to say that Dion Lewis was that good this past weekend either, but certainly they want to run the football, but they really have not found the right combination to do so far this year. maybe the most effective runner on the team has been Marcus Mariota, the quarterback.
Well, we've had trouble with wide receivers around here, since like the beginning of time, since the team came off the boat from Cleveland, quite frankly. I mean, it's been, the one thing Ozzie has never really done is draft a wide receiver. We went out in the market and got players. To your point, Corey Davis, and I know Cincinnati used to pick on John Ross as well, and it has to start to bear some fruit at some point. We had no fruit out of Rashad Perryman around here, and that leads to bringing in the Wallaces and the Steve Smiths and the Crabtrees who dropped a bunch of balls here last week as well. But Davis at least has sniffed out better this year, right? Like, he's the best thing you got going for you, right?
Oh, far and away, yeah. And I think the Ravens struggle at the wide receiver position mirrors the Titans in a lot of ways. They have not drafted well at that position. They draft Corey Davis 5th overall. Out of Western Michigan, he didn't do anything last year because of injury. He's starting to come on a bit now. He is far and away the best receiver for this Titans offense at this point. The problem is what's behind him, and it's not a lot. And keep in mind, the Titans, because of trades, only had 4 draft picks this entire last draft, and they used 2 of those picks in the later rounds where a lot of people thought they would go receiver, try to add depth. They get Dane Cruikshank, a defensive back out of Arizona. And in the 6th round, they draft Luke Falk out of Washington State, the quarterback, who's now injured on Miami's practice squad. So didn't even make it into the season as a draft pick. So that, if you're looking to criticize a spot for John Robinson, the GM, and his limited amount of time here, it's been not addressing the wide receiver position, and it's really starting to show now for the Titans.
Chad Withrow is our guest. He's the host of the Midday 180 in Nashville, Tennessee, where the party's always on. You can find him at Withrow Zone out on Twitter as well. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at Cole Roofing. I had Billy Cole in here. He'll be in Nashville celebrating my 50th birthday with me this weekend, as well as our friends at Pfister Energy. You can find that out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault. Cole Roofing's been doing it 99 years. Also sponsoring our community and charity series. If you got a story you want me to tell, like Officer Caprio in the big soccer game over at Loch Raven. They're doing an incredible Fallen Officers Fund event at Loch Raven on Wednesday. All of that's brought to you by Cole Roofing and Pfister Energy. Big thanks to them. Also brought to you by Strategic Factory. I'm wearing my Strategic Factory shirt here online. Whether it's printable gear, whether it's printing signs, or whether it's a marketing strategy, they're your one-stop solution for all that good stuff. You can learn more about what they do at strategicfactory.com. Also want to give a shout-out to my friends over at Costas, who are interested in getting me some 50th birthday crabs. I think it's going to be like a 50th birthday month. I'm going to turn into a crustacean before the month is over. Good enough for the Today Show and my mom, and always with the fat crabs and the cold beer and the good hospitality. And baseball games on all month, which is what's going to get me to Costas in. Say hello to Pete. Say hello to Nick down there. The legend continues with the pit beef and the bands. Real East Side fun. We'll see you Costas in for my 50th birthday as well. I gave some Free the Bird shirts away down there. Chad, I guess the big story on the Baltimore side's Dean Pease, Kamaleo Correa. You've been through Wisenhunt and Malarkey before that, Munchak and all that. The Vrabel thing has been different. So I guess I would start this with Vrabel, and then you could talk about Pease and anything else going on with the defense there. But I would hire Mike Vrabel. Having seen him play, the pedigree, he was an Ed Block winner. He came in, the way he purports himself still at this point. And he's the kind of guy to me that he checks the boxes to become a successful NFL head coach.
No, you're dead on right. And the thing you always hear about Mike Vrabel is winner and presence. And I think those are 2 words that describe him well. He's won everywhere he's been, and he has a presence about him, this sort of confidence that you can't fake at all times. He's very cool, calm, and collected. And I think that's really rubbed off on this team. And he's not an excuse maker also. I've been blown away by his candor in press conferences, meeting with the media after bad moments, after good moments, never too high, never too low. He's very much a player-friendly coach, having been a player for so long. He always puts it back on the players. The successes, it's a players' league. They're the ones that have to go out and make the plays. And I think that the team really appreciates that, and he's very honest and straightforward. When he got the job, the immediate assumption was, okay, this is going to be Patriots South, because you got John Robinson, who cut his teeth in New England as the GM, and they hire Mike Vrabel, who, of course, played for years under Bill Belichick. There may be some similarities in New England and how they really, with the players, tried not to say much, but only focusing on the preparation in the next game. But I think Vrabel's much different from Bill Belichick in his personality and how he conducts himself with the media. And I think so far it's been a big hit with Titans fans. And there is a confidence there, and you can see it how he goes for it on fourth down, how he's taking some chances that I think really reverberates with that roster.
For you with Pease and the bringing of him in, and you talk about New England, I mean, there was a little bit of a scuttlebutt here, and, Harbaugh may have shoved him aside a little early, and maybe he wouldn't have come back and done this for anybody other than Vrabel, but clearly there's a lot of relationship there as well, but also sort of a patriarchal thing that the Titans defense has had with LeBeau and others, right? Like, bringing in sort of the sage veteran guy almost gives Vrabel a nice little assistant ear, and something that he can trust in a system that he knows as well, but I don't know that was sort of an automatic thing that Pease was going to go down there, right?
Yeah, no, it's and you said it. It's nice to have a guy with Dean Pease's experience to be there for a first-time head coach that was only a 2-year defensive coordinator before that in Houston. So that I think has been really nice to lean on that experience. And you're right, Dick LeBeau before that with Mike Mularkey, sort of that father figure in the locker room for everyone. And Dean Pease, when he was done with Baltimore, he was actually about to coach, being a high school football assistant coach back, I think, where he lives. So that was certainly a change there now, the defensive coordinator with the Titans. And I think you look at both Baltimore and the Titans, I think they're both top 10 overall in the league in defense. So they both, I think, turned out well with what happened. But, yeah, I think for Mike Vrabel, he had a prior relationship with Dean Pease. It was kind of a no-brainer to bring him in and have someone you could really rely on that's been there and done that in this league.
Give everybody some Nashville love here. Are you a Nashville native, Chad?
I am, yes.
And, so...
Actually, I'm actually from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is about 20 minutes east of Nashville, but around here, people pretty much consider that Nashville.
Man, we're coming down. I had Stevie Gorman on earlier this week, who's actually a Maryland native and an Oriole guy and all that, and so many musicians have settled there. I'll say this, I've been coming down there for almost 30 years, and, it is the most blossomed city in America for where it was 20 years ago, where it was 10 years ago, and really where it is now, which is just this replacement place for New Orleans with vibe and music and really just like an energy unlike anything else, probably in the South for sure, but the way it's grown up and gotten bigger and is no longer like a town, it's like a city now.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the growth. I went to college and came back, and when I came back, it was kind of at the time where everything was starting to grow, but it really blossomed right around 2008, 2009, and it's continued to grow since then. I was with my wife the other night. We went to a Bruno Mars concert downtown. And I work downtown, but there are spots of downtown where I'm not always driving around or walking. And just walking from my radio station to the Bruno Mars concert, I'm looking around, and it's amazing seeing new restaurants and bars that I didn't even know existed that are there in Nashville. And that's been the story for years now. And you see so many high-rise condo complexes and everything being built. And you go down on Broadway. I mean, I'm driving through Broadway at 2:15 p.m. on a Tuesday, and it's packed with people out eating and drinking on Broadway. It's just amazing to see Nashville grow, but to see how it's also grown as that sort of tourist destination, and not just a tourist destination for country music fans coming in from the Midwest like it was 15, 20 years ago. It is the tourist spot for people all over the country, you included, coming in from Baltimore.
Well, we'll bring our purple bags. It's my birthday on Sunday, and, I had an old Aller thing, and I always tell Blaine Bishop and the old Allers that are around about all of that. But, so, spending my 50th birthday in Nashville, things could be worse. I could have had Buffalo or Cleveland or someplace. I had to do that last week, or Charlotte 2 weeks from now. But happy to be in Nashville with you good folks. And a little primer for Trotzy coming back. I literally was unaware of the Islanders' schedule in that way, and I found found out literally earlier in the week, and I'm a little geeked up about this because I think, first off, the Capitals urinated upon Barry Trotz on his exit. And, they raised the banner last week and never mentioned his name, which I think's low rent. And, I have a feeling that in Nashville he'll be hailed a bit. I don't think there's anybody there that doesn't feel great that Barry Trotz got the kiss to the Stanley Cup, right?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, everyone was rooting for Barry Trotz. People in Nashville love Barry Trotz. He was such a great part of the community, and he won. I mean, let's face it, he did a great job with the Preds also. It was one of those rare moves that kind of worked out for everyone. They needed a little new blood, a new thought process, maybe get them to the next level, and they got that with Peter Laviolette. And then he goes to Washington and wins the Stanley Cup, so people were thrilled with that. It's funny because now with the Islanders, the Preds already beat the Islanders in Brooklyn this past weekend. So a week and a half into the season, they'll have already played the Islanders for the 2 times they're going to play them all year. So it's funny you're going to be in town to see that game, and it lined up well for you on your 50th birthday, knowing Barry Trotz. But, yes, I would expect a huge ovation for Barry Trotz from Preds fans Saturday night in Nashville. There's no doubt about it.
Well, there's no better place to be than at a Preds game with my fang fingers out, and I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Chad, great to visit with you, and we'll see you at the football game on Sunday. It should be a nice little slobber knocker amongst 3 and 2 AFC foes, right?
Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun, and look forward to it, and enjoy Nashville. Enjoy the 50th, and it's always fun coming on with you, Nestor. Thank you so much.
What a blessing for a late kickoff for a guy on his 50th birthday, right?
That's right, yeah. I'm telling you, this schedule could not have worked out any better. You got Barry Trotz and the Islanders in town. You've got the late kickoff. It's like someone knew what they were doing when all these things conspired on this weekend for you.
I'm having a woo-woo moment on the Cumberland River, I think, at some point here, man. Hey, we'll see you on Sunday, all right? Appreciate the time, Chad, as always.
All right, thanks, Nestor.
Chad Withrow, you can find him at Withrow Zone. That's WITHROW Zone. Host of the Midday 180 in the high school football hour and doing all sorts of good stuff in Nashville, Tennessee. And you can find me out at WNST.net. We're there 24 hours a day in the buyatoyota.com audio vault. Find us there. Download the TuneIn Radio app. You can listen when you want to what you want. Talk about my 50th birthday, man. Kicking it off with Steely Dan at the Modell Lyric. They're going to be doing a bunch of shows at the Modell Lyric. Let me go through them all here for you. The John Cusack Say Anything shows on the 25th. You got Kansas November 24th. You got the Beach Boys Christmas show coming in December, as well as 2 comedy shows. Bill Burr's coming up next week, and Jim Gaffigan. And don't forget, John Mellencamp coming in February. There is magic at the Modell Lyric. Find them at modell-lyric.com. Also, our friends at Sporticulture. The flowers around me on the set are always beautiful, and they smell great, and they're grown by my pal Cord, who was also an Oiler fan, but has been a Raven fan here for a quarter of a century. These flowers are grown right in the soil here, right out in Howard County. We would love to ship them to you. Go to Sporticulture.com, officially licensed NFL and collegiate stuff. 1 click, 1 ship, send a gift. They smell great. They come. They're lovely. They can be planted outside as well. It's a beautiful thing. Sporticulture.com. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.